If you are trying to really advertise on the Meta platform, that is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, among others, it's important to really think about scaling those ads. Okay. So in today's conversation, what I want to do is I want to really explain to you how to scale Meta ads and target your best customers this year. So let me first give you a few facts here. I mean, we can all agree that Meta advertising is not what it used to be, right? Because in the last 2 years, Meta is gradually introducing artificial intelligence in the whole ad process, including its Meta Advantage Plus sort of tool. Okay, but the thing is that this is actually internal, but you also have external forces. For instance, privacy regulations like GDPR, iOS updates, and the slow dissolution of third-party cookies really are throwing a wrench into ad tracking. Okay, and the Facebook Pixel doesn't deliver nearly the same results as it once did. And honestly, some days it feels like Meta is just shooting itself in the foot, really, when you think about it. Because the thing is that you are actually having a very competitive process, but also you have a global market of entrepreneurs. It's not just entrepreneurs in the states; you have entrepreneurs in all other places. Okay, one thing for sure, Meta actually remains the best place for a lot of advertisers, especially e-commerce advertisers, because those are the ones that have a simple customer itinerary. The customer journey is much shorter and much easier, much more straightforward if you are thinking about e-commerce versus business to business like B2B or D2G, among others. So let me talk to you about quickly about what visitor identification really is and why you probably have never heard of it, or probably you're not even using it. So if you're like most advertisers, visitor identification might not sound familiar or like something only enterprise brains have figured out. You also may not realize that it's everywhere. In all likelihood, you've seen it without even knowing. Okay, believe me. So to break it down for you, visitor identification is exactly what it sounds like. Someone visits your website and you identify them. So we're talking names, emails, job titles, addresses, and more. So a website identity pixel identifies your anonymous visitors and matches them to a profile in a database. The visitor contact data is enriched with personal information, and the pixel starts tracking visitor behavior, think customer journey tracking, and this data is then sent to platforms like Meta, Google, and or let's say Klaviyo, giving you a first-party data to fuel your CRM, your ad audiences, for instance, okay, and email flow. So that's kind of cool. So when you think about visitor identification, it's important to understand that this matters a lot for Meta ads, okay? For starters, these are people who visit your site, but they don't make a purchase, fill out a form, or even click a button. So these are the 98 to 99% of anonymous visitors you never would be able to identify otherwise. So with visitor identification, you can. You get first party, person level data without pop ups, cookies, or other invasive tools. You also get data that allows you to create really targeted and high intent audiences. This is how you build and scale your Meta ads strategy. Let me dig a little deeper here. Let me give you some smart moves. So you want to use visitor identification to scale your Meta ads properly. Okay. So scaling Meta ads can be downright frustrating because as soon as you increase your ad spend, costs seem to spike even faster. In fact, to increase your reach by 2.5 to 3.5x, you might have to boost your budget by 5 times or even 10 times or more. Why? Because Meta's auction system is not exactly forgiving. When you try to scale, you are competing harder for the same audience. That means you are paying more for every click, impression, and conversion. But what if you didn't have to compete for all your audience? What if you kept building an audience of people who were genuinely interested in what you had to offer? That would scale, right? So let's look at how to scale your meta ads with a custom built first party audience. First thing first, you want to restore your lost signals. That's really important. You want to restore your lost signals. So when we talk about first party data to scale meta ads, we have to start with server side tracking. And in this case, we have to talk about CAPI or Meta's Conversion API. And KPI is, your KPI is essential to meta ads because it restores those lost audience signals that used to drive our crazy cheap numbers. You know, the signals it used to get from browser based tracking, right? So KPI sends event data like purchases, page views, add to cart conversions, or add to cart actions, and more directly from your website actually to Meta. This data is then used to determine your event match quality, your EMQ score, a number that many advertisers haven't even heard of, right? And this is important from a scalability point of view. The thing is that basically your EMQ score actually impacts cost. The better your EMQ, the better rates you get. The lower your EMQ, well, we like to call it the meta tax, okay? So by sending actually your first party data through CAPI, you give Meta the data it needs to understand who your audience is, what they want, and what you can avoid. Actually, what you can do to avoid the Meta tax. Next, you want to segment smarter with first party data, okay? So once you restore your signals with server side tracking, it's time to kick things up a notch by using your first party data to segment and build strong audiences. It's not just about having audiences, it's about having qualified, what I call qualified audiences, okay? Audiences that are ready to buy, audiences that can really they can add value to your bottom line. So this is important. So generic targeting is so lost these days. Okay, if you want to see a real results, you need to get personal, and that means more granular audience segmentation. You got to go to the roots. Okay, it means going beyond basic demographics and building custom audiences based on real behaviors and interests. Okay, it just means that you are also using your visitor identification data. So you got to really go more granular at a very deep level. So here's the deal. You want to collect behavioral data, you want to enrich that data, and you want to build custom audiences. That's really retargeting gold, right? Collect behavioral data. So with your website identity pixel in place, you can see exactly what your visitors are up to, what pages they are browsing, which products they are eyeing, how long they're sticking around, etc. You can then enrich that data. Don't just stop at the top funnel level info like name, email, address, page views, etc. You want to match this visitor data with profiles in your CRM to get a fuller picture. Think past purchases, browsing habits, and even specific interests. And then you want to build custom audiences. So you want to take all that juicy data and feed it back into Meta. Create hyper targeted audiences like folks who visited a particular product page but didn't add anything to the cart. Customers who bought one item and might be interested in something complementary. Visitors who lingered on your pricing page but didn't take the plunge. And people who live in a specific region and have an income over $250,000. So that's important from a flexibility point of view. Next, if you want to scale Meta ads, you want to use BOFU powered TOFU campaigns. Let me explain. Basically, if you think about if you think about BOFU, you are speaking about bottom of funnel. TOFU, top of funnel. Okay, there are several types of ad objectives you can choose from on Meta, and each comes with its own price tag. Some are downright pricey, while others are far more budget friendly. Okay, so let me give you a quick rundown of common campaign types, ranked from most expensive to least expensive. So you have conversions, leads, app installs, engagement, and traffic. So when you think about conversions, basically those are the most expensive. This is the holy grail for advertisers. Okay, you're asking Meta to find people most likely to take a specific action, like purchasing. For leads, for instance, leads are slightly cheaper than conversions, but still costly because you are targeting users ready to share their info. What about app installs? While costs vary, but they are often in the mid range depending on the audience and app. For engagement, these campaigns are focused on likes, shares, and comments, and comment at a lower price point. And finally, traffic. This is the least expensive by far. These campaigns drive clicks and page visits without requiring high intent actions. Okay. Unfortunately, advertisers have traditionally had to weight their objective options carefully. Okay. Do you sink your budget into high cost conversion campaigns or spreading across cheaper objectives, knowing that traffic campaigns alone don't guarantee sales? Okay. So this is something to really think about. So you want to make sure that you are basically running traffic focused campaigns to attract a large volume of visitors at a lower cost. You want to use your website identity pixel to track those visitors and collect first party data. That's going to help you big time. You want to segment the audience based on behavior. For example, product page viewers, cart abandoners, or blog readers. You want to retarget them with high intent BOFU campaigns designed actually to convert. So this is really cool from a flex. So let me share with you a few benchmarking items here. If you're thinking about scaling meta ads big time this year, you want to start. Let me give you a few practical tips, okay, to start scaling your Facebook ads with visitor identification. So the first thing is you need to implement a website identity pixel, and not any type of website identity pixel. You want to be very careful here. You want to choose the best tool for your specific site. For instance, if you have a WordPress website, you want to have a pixel that actually adjusts to WordPress. Okay. Okay. So first thing first, you need to install a website identity pixel. So this tiny piece of code is the foundation of your visitor identification strategy, because what it does is that it really tracks who's visiting your site, what they are doing, and feeds that data, okay, back to you in real time. So that's what I love, and that's what you will love also about the pixel, because it's feeding that data back in real time. You don't have to wait. There's no delay, okay? You're getting the data in real time. And just make sure that it's installed on every page of your site for maximum coverage. And you want to use a tool that matches and enriches visitor data to actual profiles, including names, emails, and more. So you want to really find a way to well, what I call connect those data points semantically. That way you know exactly what's working and what's not working, and you can really refine the info as you go along, and that's going to help you big time in terms of scaling your meta ads. Let's say substantially. This is an important element to think about. Next, you want to set up server-side tracking with CapEye. So CapEye, again, this is your holy grail, if you will. Okay. So I spoke to you earlier about the API from from conversion. So conversion API, okay, that Facebook has set up. So if you want to scale, CapEye can really help you big time. Don't really confuse this with KPI though. Okay, those are two different elements. So CapEye stands for Conversion API from Facebook, and or from Meta, and KPI is Key Performance Indicators. Okay, so if you want to scale, you want to really think about server-side tracking KPI, because it restores your lost tracking signals and ensures Meta can optimize your campaigns effectively. So if you have no idea what I'm speaking about, let me know in the comment section, and I'll certainly walk you through. Or you can just you can work with your web team or a developer to configure CPA correctly. Okay, and that's if you don't have the knowledge yourself. So once you actually have configured, once you have configured your KPI correctly, you want to test your setup thoroughly to ensure data is flowing smoothly to Meta, right? Because otherwise, basically, you'll be wasting a lot of time. So you want to you want to make sure that data is flowing correctly the way it's supposed to flow back to a Meta in the first place, and you want to monitor the results in Ads Manager to confirm better attribution and performance, especially if you are working on multiple products that are complex. You also want to use first party data to build high intent audiences in Meta. So leverage your first party data to build audiences that actually convert, right? So what you want to do is you want to segment your visitors, you want to sync your data, and you want to focus on intent. So when I say segment your visitors, for instance, use behavior based data to create audiences like product page viewers who didn't add to cart, cart abandoners who didn't complete checkout, returning visitors who haven't purchased yet. You also want to sync your data. So you want to feed actually your enriched audience data into Meta's custom audiences to create campaigns tailored to specific behaviors and interest. And when I say focus on intent, use this data to build retargeting campaigns that speak directly to high intent visitors, offering the right incentives, okay, to push them toward conversion actually. Finally, you want to run test campaigns to validate the results, right? I mean, if you want to scale Meta ads, you got to really have a data validation. You got to have a process validation. Otherwise, you'll be working with invalid data, okay? So before you try and scale to the moon, start small. Run test campaigns to see how your new first party data strategies perform. So, for instance, you can launch traffic focused campaigns and monitor how many visitors you can identify. And you have to be able to identify those visitors, by the way. You also want to use retargeting flows to measure conversion rates and adjust as needed. That's going to help you actually get better in terms of ROIS, your ROAS, okay? And you want to analyze the cost per result compared to traditional targeting methods. So basically what I suggest is that you want to run your campaigns at the same time. For example, you want to run the same exact campaign, one with your traditional audience and the other with your platform built first party audience, and this will give you a much clearer picture, okay, as to whether or not your new audience is working. So this is important, especially from a flexibility point of view. If you want to really get things done faster, you got to get to that level, okay? And so basically, at the end of the day, if you want to scale your Meta ads and retarget like it's 2019 or 2020 again, visitor identification and first party data are what you need, really. So especially if it comes to optimization and scaling, and the scaling at a very big level, by the way. So this is just really good. As an epilogue into this conversation, I give you a few tricks to scale Meta ads. I give you the facts, the smart moves, the benchmarking, and now the epilogue. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay